we're in.
Right on, right on. Ooh, and we're doing this early in the morning this go around, so
Early
we're
in the
giving it a shot.
morning.
Yeah, we're trying something different, trying shit. We do it late, we do it early. We're going to see whatever happens, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see if you guys are up and about at this time. And if not, we're just going to keep trying shit and trying, until we sort out what is a good time for everybody. But
Well, early morning. Yeah, that's good for the the far west time or far east time zones.
yeah, and you never know. Like by now, you may be on your second cup of Joe. You're already mad because your boss hit you with some BS before the weekend, and you're just that one.
Maybe you just decided not to go in on Friday.
Exactly. It's like you got a case of the fuckets, and you're like, it's can't seem to shake it today, so we're going with it.
Your fit sock meter is off the charts.
Fit sock meter.
We had a saying, or like at the old audio job, towards the end of the week, it's fuck this shit o'clock.
Let's fuck this shit.
So fit sock.
Fit sock.
Yeah.
I dig that.
So you got to make it sound professional and like it's an acronym for something, and no one has to know what it is. But your fit sock meter.
We used to have I need you to help me with this. What is it? We got an ID10 error out there. We just can't seem to fix it. It's like, oh, great.
So I guess we're really going into the we're using that explicit tag right off the bat today this week.
Your friend Joe has a hard on. I got a question. He said, you still not trying to have a liftoff? Tisk tisk. Sir, I already told you what the cost of entry would be. Raise $5,000, donate it to Smoke and Hope, and then come back and talk to me. I feel like that's a nice barrier to entry.
I feel like it's pretty clear.
I think that's crystal at that point in time. It is what it is. My time is and you know the schedule that we have coming. You're like, yeah, I'm not done at this point.
No comment on my end.
Always Switzerland over there.
Well, no, I have a freer schedule.
Yeah. You can have a lift off with Brian. His schedule is a lot.
Oh yeah. And guess what? You win.
No, it's like it's with this tour and everything. It's a lot going, but I love it, man. It beats the alternative. I jumped in, and then we'll get to your good story. Bad idea, bad idea.
I gotta think of one real
Well,
quick.
I'm buying you some time.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Carter of Carter's Barbecue and also runs Unknown Black Pitmasters was going on like how he wants to upgrade his equipment for the podcast and when he's doing his live streams and such. And he referenced our channel, our setup, and you were on the live.
Yeah, I was
with
there.
me. It's like you should just like get back to work.
That was my day off, actually.
I know, right? It was, I had to tell him, I was like, hey, brother, what you're seeing is the culmination of years and years and years of building and investing and building and investing. I said, when I first started this, I had a set of white Apple AirPods, and I was in a closet with a duvet sweating bullets.
I don't even think it was AirPods. It was the wired ones that had the better
Oh, that's right.
microphone,
Yeah. It was, and I would have it, I would hold it like this with my elbows out so that the duvet wasn't brushing up against anything, and it was just a hell of a shoulder workout as I talk and practice breath control while sweating profusely under a duvet in a closet because that's just where it could go. Then I upgraded the camera systems and the mics to the Rhodes and everything, and was shooting in my basement, but still use the duvets and blankets on the side paneling on top to capturing the sound. And then we get in here, we get the lights. It's just constant building, just stay at it. But over time, it gets better.
No, there was when we switched to work from home, we still had to record credits for Audible books, for Audible post books.
Yeah.
So I had a closet set up. My equipment was probably a little bit better just because you like work in the audio industry, you need something. But like I had a condenser mic with one of those kind of like
the little like domes.
the bounce back. But then on the
there.
back of the door in the closet that I would close, it was just a moving blanket, and on the walls and on the top, it was just moving blankets everywhere.
Yeah.
People don't. Hey, here's a tip, Mr. Carter. If you're listening, any and everybody out there that's trying to dampen some sound and make it happen, do not do not go to an audio store. Do not go to Amazon and type in sound dampening blankets. That will add an extra 20 to 40%. Go to your local Home Depot and snag you some moving blankets.
The thickest you can get.
Thickest you can use. And they're like 10 to 20 bucks. And they're huge and they're great. And they are literally the exact same thing. One just says sound dampening. One just says moving. That's the only difference. It's the same thing.
Actually, the sound ones have grommets in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can, that way you can hang them up.
Yeah.
If you're at Home Depot, buy a nail.
And then find your nearest closet.
Yes, it all starts there, man.
Yeah.
It all starts there. I
You know what? I'm going to out us, and I'm going to switch it back over to Brian's camera. There is a sound blanket behind him.
Yeah.
Hiding a window right
yeah,
now.
I mean, that's like this.
how many
Every
of you
office
even
here
knew?
has windows, so we have to throw one over something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're growing, and you guys may notice a change, and you may not. We'll see how good we are at our jobs, if you can tell when it happens. But no, we're not above. We've got panels, sound panels, audio panels, lights, all the nice fancy what have yous, but can't beat a good old sound blanket over a window.
No, you and Lee just make it look more professional.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
People keep messaging me and be like, "Yeah, you guys have an awesome setup." I go, "I just show up." Like Rasheed and Lee are the reason that's like Lee's the unsung hero, man.
No, definitely. I tell everyone's like, yeah, we invested in it. We just have that relationship. Lee's like, we need this. Like, cool, I'll get it. Put it on the shopping list. We put it up. We make it work. And yeah, got a good idea, bad idea. This should have been enough time.
Oh no, I have one. I
Right
like,
on.
and this is more based on experience. Good idea. Have some friends who are awesome and willing to help you run a pop up.
Cool. I dig that.
Bad idea. Don't set them up for success. And when I say this is, you know, I have some I have a rotation of friends that help me with the pop ups just because, you know, I'm only doing 1 day a week. It's hard to afford or to get someone consistently who wants to who can be there every Saturday or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody has lives. And so I was working with a crew all of last year. So we had a shorthand, we had a thing. We knew what how everybody wrote their orders and stuff. And so I didn't set up, or the people that were helping me past weekend I didn't set them up with a order shorthand and how to write orders and go over all this stuff and explain the menu and break everything down. So we spent a lot of time looking at tickets, trying to decipher what the order was. I mean, we also had people that would come up and order a 2-meat plate and then not say what meats they wanted. They're like, I want a 2-meat plate. It's like, okay, what do you want?
That is a good idea. That is a good idea and a bad idea.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. And
then that's on me. I'm not frustrated with them. I'm frustrated with me that I didn't set them up for success. At the end of the day.
that's what happens when you're in
Make them a
charge.
cheat sheet.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I got to do. Is I need to do that beforehand. We need to I need to get there. I was running a little bit late, probably about 10 minutes late. That 10 minutes could have been the time that we sat there, discussed, gone over everything, created shorthand, and be like, hey, the 1-meat plate is 1M, then you rate the meat, and then whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just growing pains. We've had it here on the cast. If something gets missed, I was like, "Oh, that's on me." I'm like, no, it's on me. I should have saw it. Now that it's happened, you put something in place for it, and you go on.
Yeah, and it always starts at the top.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And with that being said, welcome to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that introduces you to both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. I'm your host, Rasheed Phillips, and joining me as always is my amazingly bearded wonder co-host, Mr.
Brian Hull.
And the voice you hear but face you do not yet see, Mr.
Lee Garmin.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting snapped with it. We're right on par. You would never been able to tell that I was in Vegas getting the work and hands put on me by wind and Mother Nature and just any and everything that could happen, but we fell right back into step here, and we're going to kill it. We have a lot of fun news, some really strange barbecue-related news, and a lot of good questions that you guys submit. As always, we appreciate it. If you can do us a favor, tell a friend to tell 2 friends to visit our YouTube, hit that whole subscribe button and the old bell so you know when we're live, when we're dropping stuff. And also, if you've got it in you, shoot on over to the old Instagrammies and follow us at This Week in Barbecue. We will be launching a TikTok page as well, so you can go back and find snippets.
A TikTok?
A TikTok before it gets banned. We're jumping on at the very last second. We're waiting.
Yeah, right before it's out the door.
Hey, better late than never. All right.
Hey man, let's go get a blue Twitter check mark.
I think I know, what is it, like $14? It's crazy. So
And it keeps dropping in price.
they said, oh, we're not going to charge you to get a verified badge and this or that. And then I got back from Vegas and my whole feed was full of blue checks. I was like, y'all really paid for this? Like, some of you guys aren't. Who's going to try to be you? Who's trying to copy to be you? But they just paid the amount for it. So it's very interesting. I still don't know how I got mine, because I was asked that. I found out because my sister called and gave me shit for it. I was like, what are you talking about?
Corey did it behind your back.
I was literally leaving the studio in L.A. and to my Airbnb, and it's like, hey, Mr. Big Time, you answer the phone. Like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, you got a blue check now. I was like, when? How? How does that work? Like, I don't know. But apparently now you can pick it up for $12.99, which is alarmingly still cheaper than getting yourself a full 24 set of eggs at the grocery store. So for less than a case of eggs, you can go get a blue check mark.
Is it one time or monthly?
Oh, it's monthly. You know
monthly.
that. Oh, you think they were going to let it slide off that 12? Nah, come on, man. They're like, no, you can.
But
you don't pay what you owe.
But did they allow password sharing? Sorry.
Can I share this blue check mark with all my other pages? But here's the hustle, right? You ready? Here's the real hustle. If I'm reading it correctly, that blue check is per platform. So you may get a blue check on the old Instagrammies. That bad boy doesn't roll over to your Facebook page.
Oh, no.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
would it?
Okay.
would
All right.
it?
All right.
So you could buy a blue check mark for Phillips Barbecue on Instagram.
Wait.
But even though Phillips Barbecue is linked to the same Facebook page and it's identical, it doesn't roll over.
Wait, they're selling them on. I thought we were still talking about Twitter. They sell the blue check marks on Instagram now,
Yeah,
so they're worthless.
absolutely.
Okay.
They've always been worthless.
Yeah.
Always. The only people that really need them was like your Kardashians and stuff like that, so people don't make all these crazy pages and such out of them. But yeah, they're absolutely worthless because, like I said, for now, I'm telling you, this is definitely a conversation for a completely different podcast. We need to switch over to the Entre podcast file system and then talk about it there. But
The stuff you don't need.
yeah, the stuff you don't need in life. Save what you can really do with an extra $12 a month.
So you want to do a quick rundown of the stuff happening this weekend since we didn't do a podcast last weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Hit 'em
So
with the
we
hard 20.
both had it on our list. The Fort Worth Food and Wine
Yep.
Ring of Fire.
Yep.
It is on Sunday, April 2nd. Tickets, general admission. I just checked this morning. General admission tickets were still available. VIPs are out.
Okay. And we've got some familiar faces. You remember Miss Deandra Simmons of Real Housewives. She is joining the amazing ladies over at Babes of Q because they're going to be over at the Fort Worth Food and Wine
Yeah,
Fest.
they have their own tent. Yeah, so
I think she's on their podcast as well, I think. But yeah, she's getting into the world of barbecue. She was with us over at Holy Smokes, and just a couple weeks back, she actually went to Tank's Barbecue University weekend. You know, they had like Mike Johnson, they had Tank over there, Bear was there, our amazing Brian Furman was there as well, whole slew of cats. So it's very interesting, right? As I was talking to Misty, shout out Misty, Seattle's Butcher's wife. If you guys aren't following her on the old Instagrammies, check her out. And we're just like, it seems like a lot of people in Hollywood, their like post-career after the limelight is something in food. And more than not, it's dropping into barbecue. Like you've got your Jennifer Garner, I think she's doing a cooking show. They've got a whole cooking series with Selena Gomez on HBO Max. And we spoke about it 2-3 episodes ago.
Whatever Goop is.
Yeah, whatever that is. I don't know. Then 2-3 weeks ago, we talked about Cedric the Entertainer and Anthony Anderson are forming a barbecue company. So after you finish making your millions on TV, come on over to the barbecue world where you work 7 times as hard for a fraction of the payout.
Hold on. Let me, because it's the part of the Babes of Q. They're having their own tent there at the Ring of Fire. So Kimberly Ovalle and Cecilia Guerrero of Goldie's are also going to be there, and then
Part of their setup too, or just on
no, part of Babes of Q.
Okay.
Yeah, they just actually just listened to the episode they were on Bettina Miller. I'm gonna pronounce it right this time.
Trying to put all those extra
Look, I'm from the South. I'm gonna pronounce every vowel as hard as I
nothing
can.
is silent.
Nothing is silent.
I'm from the South. Nothing is silent.
He drags the G in lasagna.
Yeah.
Hard
So
to cook.
let's see. What did she tell me she was cooking? Oh yeah, they're smoking and searing lamb. So they're pulling a you.
Hey.
Yeah, they're smoking and searing lamb at the Babes of Q tent over there.
Okay, right.
And there's a bunch of other barbecue people there too. So
But we're focused on them because they're going to kick butt.
yeah, exactly. Then so today's the start of Hogs for a Cause.
It is.
So today and tomorrow.
I saw Tank was he did a video showing like it could be morbid to some people, but if you're in this world, it's part of it, and if you're not, it is part of how you get the meat on your plate, ladies and gentlemen. He did a video showing the selection of the hogs that were being pulled to head on over there.
Yeah, Tyler Hodge, who we just interviewed last week, he was making a crawfish boil sausage for Hogs for a Cause. So it had crawfish and corn
Tyler,
and,
I know you're
and
listening.
potatoes.
Send us 2 links, man. I know you're listening.
And then so that is today and tomorrow.
Okay.
So the 31st and the 1st. Then a Houston Barbecue Festival, April 2nd, this Sunday.
Yeah.
So Fort Worth Food and Wine, and then the Houston
Shoot on
Barbecue
over to
Festival.
Houston, yeah.
And then I'm not wearing their hat this time, but no, Grasslands.
Oh,
Yeah, Grasslands Barbecue, their 2-year anniversary.
we've got to get Brian more hats. If you're a barbecue institution, send us hats.
I think you have some hats sitting in your PO box.
I know for a fact I don't because I just checked it.
Oh, you just checked it? Okay.
Yeah, so what I do have, shout out to Kingsford for sending me a mean-ass set of Kingsford engraved Yeti mugs and a pretty dope cutting board. I'm going to oil that bad boy down, but nope. People like to talk a big game. Oh, you want to lift off, but you can't drop some items in a post office box?
No, they did.
Where they did when? It's been.
Oh, you know what?
weeks.
I'm gonna blame the postal service on this
We're
one.
blaming the postal service.
We're blaming the postal
I've
service.
gotten every other delivery. Before you call me out, you should probably make sure you can follow through on a simple drop-off delivery of some hats. That's all I'm saying. You're over here like, oh, you're running from the lift. You, sir, are running from a 52-cent stamp. Let's step the game up before you want to challenge me on that.
Let's circle back to the things that are happening this weekend.
You know what's not happening? Us getting those hats.
Maybe not now.
Definitely not now.
Well, it doesn't make any difference now. Like 4 or 6 weeks ago, we're heading into spring.
So Grasslands Barbecue, they're doing their 2-year anniversary. They're gonna have a new beer that they brewed. Then Burn Unit Barbecue and Scotty's Whole Hog are also there.
Okay.
So Burn Unit's doing ribs. Scotty Whole Hog is doing a whole hog.
Name kind of gave it away.
Yep. So that's at the Hood River waterfront in Oregon. So if you're out on the West Coast,
Hey.
go get some really kick-ass barbecue and celebrate 2 years of Grasslands.
And that's amazing, man. 2 years, and let's not skip and hop and moonwalk over it, ladies and gentlemen. If you could, a round of applause. Secret Pint Barbecue hit 2 years as well.
Or is it 2 years or is it 4 if we count the underground shit?
We got to do a 2 on paper. The real ones know it's 4, but you got to do a 2 on paper.
Yeah, no. 2 years. 2 years for the brewery pop-ups.
Yeah,
like
it goes by quick, man.
yeah, it does go by quick. It's
a lot of growth too.
Oh God, how many pop-ups now? It's like 40.
That's amazing. You're crushing it. I love it.
Yeah, no, that was fun this weekend. Yeah.
Shout out to you and shout out to Tad for ordering out the full Huey and a half Nelson as well. Jeez, that was a monster.
Literally
piece.
everything on the menu.
Yeah.
It was everything on the menu.
But that's the kind of friends you need.
Yeah,
Right? I bet you didn't get mad at him. Was he first in line?
He strategically placed himself first in line.
Strategically. What
does that mean?
Yeah, you either show up first or you don't.
No, he hung out kind of behind the counter and then shifted his way. It's like, do you mind?
Stepped out.
Yeah.
See, the only difference between Ted and I's order is he didn't place his to go. I placed mine to go.
Yeah.
But I still ordered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no. He had it for there. Usually he places it to go. And
Yeah.
No, the other person, the other first person in line placed it to go, and it was just like 1 beef rib and 1 sausage. I'm like, come on, man.
Was it Kevin?
Who do you think it was?
No, Kevin would have ordered more than that.
No, that was Kevin.
It was Kevin?
Yeah, it was Kevin.
Oh.
No, love Kevin.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin.
is that our rundown for what's
I mean,
happening
that's
ASAP?
the rundown for what's happening ASAP, so we can get into like more of the stuff that's happening down the road now.
Yeah, we got a little bit of wiggle room. Let's in the same frame of thought as far as things happening. Pops, Mr. Kevin Bludso, is accompanying many other amazing chefs and pitmasters. Kevin Deschenes, Christian Petroni, Maneet Chauhan. Probably massacred that one, but I give it a good old try. Over in Nashville for the Toast of Nashville. That's happening April 21st to the 23rd as a weekend event. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the tickets are only about $50 or so. I think they're priced pretty well. We've got the link in the show notes. My bad, guys. It's 85 to 105. But that gets you a lot of sessions as well. A lot of good food. They've got different special guests and live DJ on hand. So this is going on in Nashville. It's the season. You know, spring has technically officially sprung. And it's time to get that smoke rolling all throughout the year. I'm real excited about a lot of the events this year.
Yeah, get the smoke rolling and the pollen sinuses out of the way.
Oh, well, the pollen's been out. Even in freezing weather, the pollen's been out. I'm happy that it doesn't affect me, but I've got friends where it's laying them on their ass. I'm like,
I'm okay with it. Like it comes and it goes. And so this year hasn't been that bad. Oh, I do want to say thank you to, I forgot to mention, thank you to everybody who came out, and thank you especially to everybody who pre-ordered any of the sausage packs or anything that we had up for pre-orders. Depending on what you order, a large portion of those went to Smoke and Hope. Mm-hmm. So we raised a good chunk of change just from pre-orders for Smoke and Hope.
And you see that, ladies and gentlemen, I love things like this because I oftentimes emphasize you don't have to be a big name to make a big impact. And we can't look for the big names to take care of our community when we can do it ourselves, you know. So definitely kudos to you, my man, for making the links, rolling the smoke. We spread the word, and we were able to donate a couple $100 to.
Yeah, it was actually so the first year I did it, we did the Civic AAPI Civil Engagement Fund. We basically raised double what I did that 2 years ago.
Love it. Yeah, and Smoking Up, I matched their fundraiser last year, and then we contributed again. I matched their fundraiser last month, and then we're contributing again this month. It's something that the barbecue community can do so much good, and I love when we're personally the ones getting our hands in there and helping to make a change. So thank you guys for everyone who ordered. We need to do that again, but we'll do it bigger. We'll get some more. I'll see if we can't get some more guys to.
Apparently, we need to ship the Jamaican jerk sausages. How many messages did you get about shipping?
That the second I put it up, I was like, I already know what this is going to be, because I put under there.
Yeah,
Georgia residents only, and that I got somebody. That's bull. I'm over in this. I'm over in here. I want to. It's like, all right. So I think next time we do it, we are going to ship within the U.S. It will be overnight, but that shipping is going to be a little.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt a little bit, but
ready.
remember, it's going to a good cause,
right?
And it's going to a cause that you could write off as well. So, charity.
All right. So. It's back to news.
Yes.
All right. So they announced the classes while we were on break.
Yeah. So and I'm shocked to see this because we talked about how they would probably never do another class.
Well, no. They were always going to do more classes. They're never going to do any more of the one-on-ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're going to do the bigger classes from here. And we're talking about Goldie's Barbecue. If you didn't get in on the one-on-one classes back in the day, like
none of us have a hat or a shirt on.
You're SOL. But so they were offering over the next 3 months brisket, ribs, and sausage classes.
Yeah.
In the week that since they announced it, the brisket classes are completely sold out. 2 of the rib classes are sold out. So only the June rib class and the May and June sausage classes are still available. So jump on those while you still can.
We've got to do a class of some sort. I don't know what the heck I'll teach, but.
Well, do you want to? Can I go ahead and sneak one question in there?
Go and make it do what it do. Man.
When's the live pop-up Q&A happening, Barbecue Yinka? So I guess we could roll that into a class.
I know I could talk to Gary and the cats over at Atlanta Grill to allow us to set up, because that's where I used to run. I don't know if you guys know, but this is not my first barbecue podcast. I used to run a previous one out there with them. Yeah.
I like this one better.
Yeah, so
just being biased.
Yeah.
What, did you not have any? You weren't involved in the other one?
He was.
I showed up a few times.
Showed up a few times.
Yeah. So
You get sausage links out of this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you got food out of that one too. You get food all the time.
Yeah.
You get food for years. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, because you would cook.
That's true.
And then jump over.
Yeah, that was. Maybe we need to try that. That was a good one. That was fun back in there. We'll sprinkle that back in there. Okay. All right. So two serious questions. Do you guys actually want us to do a live podcast? If so, let us know, and I'll start getting the wheels working. Lee will tell you once I get the green light, I move quick. And then secondly, how seriously interested are you guys on doing a class? Because if I do a class, we've been talking about it, I have some ideas on what I want to do, and I guarantee you it's unlike any other class you guys have been to. And I'm only going to be accepting 10 people. That's it. I'm doing 10 people, and if the first one goes well, I'll do one more and probably only do it twice a year. But yeah, I think it's about time we toss our hat, or well, my hat, your hat.
Well, yeah, my hat, your hat,
into this whole ring and see what we can make happen. But you guys let us know. You know how to reach us, and we'll make it happen. But good on them for those classes selling out.
Yeah, so like they'll probably announce more, but they only have classes on their page through June. So they'll probably add July and August if I would assume. Probably not July just because of where they're doing them the first weeks of every month, and that falls under like the
4th of July and
4th of July. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Right on. I've got to, well, guys, I have two things I want to talk about. With this one first, Preserve the Pit is closing. Applications, please, 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 get them in.
Today is the last day.
Yeah. There has been an obscene amount. So if you guys are watching this live and you haven't yet, please, Command T, Control T, what have you, open up a new window, new tab, go to preservethepit.com, submit your application, get it in there. You guys have been asking for ways to work together. This is it.
And to be clear, if you're listening and it's not Friday, March 31st, applications are closed.
It's closed.
It's done.
Closed.
This is mostly for the people who listen the same day or are watching the live show.
Yeah. Please go apply. Don't get scared off by the requirements. Just still apply. They're like, I'm not a fully established. Still apply. Still apply. You never know what can happen. You can be a grant recipient. There's so many opportunities available to you guys. Just still apply. It is absolutely worth it. Please, please, please.
Who are, you want to list some alumni of the program?
Oh, we got Zilla Pitts. He's just a mean man with everything, just killing it. There's also, goodness gracious, let me pull some off of here. Zilla went on there, and he did very well. Well, everyone who's done it. Actually, my co-packer, Donnell, he's coming off of being this past year's recipients of it, and it's actually a really good program. I don't think it gets spoken about enough within the community, even though, boy, does it get a lot of flack and a lot of hate. You've got the Marshalls. They own a catering company over in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and they've seen tremendous growth. Like I said, I already mentioned Zilla. Terrence, I mentioned my co-bagger. Someone else who is a recent alum who's crushing it on his tour right now is Marvin Ross over at Peculiar Pig Farm. He's been doing these amazing up close and personal whole hog dinners. So, guys, just give it a shot. You never know what can happen and what can come out of it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I can say, guys. I had to put that out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to bogart it.
Oh, 2 congrats to go out, by the way. Mm-hmm. So the James Beard finalists were announced this week. And so one of the Best Chef Texas, Ernest Cervantes and David Kirkland of Burnt Bean Co.
Nice.
They're in the final 5 finalists of Texas.
There we go.
Also, it looked like Palmera. He was out. You posted about it. Yeah, he was out at Interstellar for the first Space Cowboy series of the year, and that turnout looked absolutely crazy.
Yeah. First off, one time for brisket country because I love the design.
Yeah.
Oof, that was nice.
Yeah. So like showing off like Hector Gararte and his the way he cooks and the heritage that he brings to barbecue, and the combination of South Carolina and Texas kind of like meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you can get out to a Space Cowboy series at Interstellar, whoever they have, it is an awesome, like, I haven't been able to go, but just tracking it through the years. I was actually supposed to go one year. There's a funny story of what happened, but tracking it through the years, it's a really cool and unique thing in barbecue, and it's totally worth going.
No, I dig that. And she may not classify her as a barbecue because she's definitely a chef. I would never disgrace her to call us among us stick burners here. But one time for Chef Renee Touponce, I met her when I was in Connecticut. She is killing it right now. She's chef de cuisine over at 2 amazing locations over in Mystic. And she rolls smoke and, juggles fire with the best of them. We had a blast touring and playing around on the Fire Beast. And if I'm ever stepping foot back at that particular festival, it would only be so I can roll smoke and play with fire with her, because she's just all around badass. So, and she's also one of the finalists, chef's finalists of
the James Beard.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah!
Had to put that out there. Way to go, chef. Way to represent not just females, but just badasses all around. Can I go to this next story? Because I got to talk about it. It's just bothering me.
Go for it.
Would you eat a prehistoric burger?
Are we getting Michael Crichton in this bitch? Like, is Jurassic Park real? No.
They have in the UK used mammoth DNA to recreate woolly mammoth meat.
Okay, I'm out. Look, man, all of us. Ian Malcolm was right. Life will find a way. Dude, we should not be stepping our toes in this, man.
I'm just saying, like, would you eat a prehistoric burger?
Like an actual dino beef rib.
Yeah, like in this case, a woolly mammoth, a woolly mammoth burger.
No, I'm out. I'm out.
What would you charge for that? What would you charge for that per pound?
Did they announce what it was going to cost per pound?
No.
Because I'm expecting that's going to be like high-end Wagyu because of how much work probably has to go into manufacture, clone. What are we talking about here?
And my apologies, it's not the UK. It's an Australian food startup. They've cloned. They use cells to generate the tissue to then generate the meat for a woolly mammoth burger. They started off by doing small portions and meat as meatballs, but it is an actual real thing. It's a thing.
Are you in? You want that? You want that T-Rex? You want that T-Rex claw?
I feel like I gotta try it.
I'm out. Like, as soon as
I just want to try it, just to be like, hey, like how people like, oh, I've had kangaroo or I've had this.
Yeah, but those are things I can see. They're tangible. There's an actuality to a kangaroo.
You mean to tell me if you had an opportunity to do a woolly mammoth brisket, you're not giving it a shot?
Look, Guga did a whole cow. I think a woolly mammoth brisket probably dwarfs that.
I've known cats who've done cows before, but shout out to Guga. I saw them do it. I was like, Guga, you should have called your boy. We could have made this a little, but we've got plans to work on some things. Guga's killing it right now.
All right, so next Chud's barbecue video coming like in 3 years. Woolly mammoth brisket.
Woolly mammoth brisket, but I had to talk about it because it stopped me. I don't think it will work. It doesn't get hot enough. Shout out to Jeremy, the owner, the CEO of Traeger. We got to catch up in Vegas. I know you guys think I give him crap and all, but it's fun.
You do.
You're not supposed to. You couldn't even leave a pregnant pause in there. Let me finish. You just just right on in there, huh?
Keep you on your toes.
Whose side are you on?
It was a third trimester pause.
Fun. He does listen. He's like, I love the pod. I was like, right on. I'm glad that you dig it.
All heat can be directed towards me.
There it is, because it's sure as hell not coming out of that pellet smoker.
Look, it can smoke. We're just not seeing.
I'm done. No, but we really had a great conversation. We talked about what they've done, what they've got going in the future, and we talked about their new flat top griddle. Because I told him, brother, I was amazed you guys decided to go propane. You know, so diametrically opposed to what you usually did, and he gave me their breakdown for it. I was like, I dig it. You know, let the smoke roll, and our paths are gonna cross again. We're gonna catch up some more.
I bought last year, and I've been using it more frequently, the electric Blackstone flat top.
Oh, okay.
That thing's actually pretty badass.
Really?
It's electric, so there is a top end temp, but it gets up to 500 degrees on and has 2 heating zones.
Okay.
So I actually did a pop up, help a friend with a pop up, and we cooked we cooked pot stickers on it, and it was really badass.
I remember.
Yeah. We did that that was last Thursday.
Good deal.
Yeah.
What do we got left on your end?
Okay, so I don't know if they announced that you could do this. We talked about Zavala's barbecue distribution down in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
Well, it's available to people outside of Grand Prairie and Fort Worth. You can totally order the barbecue sauces and rubs that you can only find in stores in Texas to be shipped to you. And a portion of every sale gets donated to the Zavala Family Foundation.
No, I like that.
So you can find some of the harder to get rubs and sauces that you might not be able to find at your on Amazon or your local grill stores.
I see you got an interesting point here. We'll have you button it up with Chuz, but prior to that, since we spoke about James Beard Cats earlier on, Mr. Matt Horn of Horn Barbecue is doing a barbecue and wine dinner. It's going to be held at Horn Barbecue location over there in California. Get your tickets while you can. It is actually far more affordable than I thought it was going to be. It's only $85 a head, so that's fairly cheap for someone as accomplished and acclaimed and get that grub. It's a whole dining experience. If you've never witnessed or seen one of his dinner nights like this, you're in for a treat. You are in for a treat. So we'll have the links to all of that information in the show notes. But shout out to Matt Horn, always setting the bar, always being creative. But that's going to be a good event.
That's cheaper than what I'm about to charge.
It is. And that's happening on April 8th and Saturday, April 15th from 6 p.m. to 7:30. And that's in the Oakland location. Like I said, we'll have all that info in the show notes. Click it, go, support if you're on that side or if you plan a trip. There's something to do. I think I'll be in Texas that weekend.
Yeah, part of the tour?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess this is the last story before we jump into questions.
Let's do it.
All right, so Chud's Barbecue.
Chud.
Yeah, if you follow them on YouTube, follow Mr. Bradley Robinson on YouTube or his Instagram page. They're taking pre-orders for their new Chud box right now.
Yeah, I saw the big one on his live. I was like, geez, that thing's my size.
Well, he also just did the did you see the table he built?
Yeah.
That thing is insane.
But I wish I had that skill.
Yeah, they're doing May pre-orders right now for the new Chud box design, which I think they're shipping them now because they broke down on how they could do the legs and stuff so that they can actually ship them. And then he's also offering sausage starter mixes. Yes. So it's a starter mix. Basically, it's for 5 pounds of ground meat. You grind or get your own ground meat, case it, and stuff it and smoke it. But everything that you need is already in that mix for 5 pounds.
Nice. Good deal. Good deal. Sounds familiar. We'll talk later. So let's get into some of these questions. Some hit harder than others.
I think I know what song I have to use for the question.
Okay.
You had a little jingle that I think I want to break out and use for question time.
Do it, man. I'm with it. Like I said, I got a voice for radio, or face radio, so keep that going. There's a few, but I kind of like this one. Where did it go? Here it is. Because I answered it in a brief snippet. But what is the proper way to load your smoker?
It depends on what point of the cook. It
You're
depends.
starting.
It depends on the smoker too. Okay, so Brian Keene and I were discussing. We both have primitive pits,
Shut up,
and
Brian.
Brian Keene is really what discovered it. He found that pit cooks really, really well when it's fully loaded. The convection works really well. When it's not fully loaded, if you load up all your briskets to the one side or all your pork butts to one side, like if you load them all up at the end and you have all this empty space, the convective heat kind of doesn't work as well, because like the way I think JD, when he talked about the way they built it, is they wanted a lot of violent air is the way he used it, where it's bouncing off of everything. As I hit the mic,
You said bouncing off of everything.
bouncing
Mike
off
included.
everything. Yeah. So I was having a hard time with my brisket flats not finishing. And then Brian Keene is like, okay, when you're loading, say you're only loading 6 briskets and like a couple pork butts, don't group them all up at one end. Spread them out like you're cooking a lot more. So I'll have kind of like 2 briskets right here, 3 like this is great for podcasts. This, if you're watching, you can see. So I'll have kind of 2 briskets kind of at the back end that are close together.
I was about to say, I'll take a biscuit right now.
Or brisket biscuit. Then I'll have the 2 that are in front of that. I'll actually spread closer to the door and the side, and then the back wall, and then say 2 more in front of that. I'll kind of have in the middle, so they're kind of all spread out, so the heat is distributing a little more evenly. But that's based on my pit. Every pit is different.
Very true. Very true. I answered it in the mindset of I'm loading up one of my rigs. You know, if I were, how I load Penny is different how I load Pearl, you know, because Pearl's a beast, but how I load Phoebe is similar to how I load Penny. Even though Phoebe has a vertical smoker on the back end. But I was just going about it in the simplest terms of loading in what will take the longest first. And I believe my exact answer was I load my briskets in first. And depending on the cook, because we roughly do the same thing. We work backwards from serve date and serve time. Load the briskets in, then usually goes butts. Then at halfway through or 3/4 away are the ribs and birds if that's happening. But I also said for me, what I like to do is I sometimes put my heavier butts on along with the brisket, and I use the radiant heat from my butts to help with the resting time of my briskets as well, just so that heat displacement doesn't go to waste. Now, as far as loading it in when full, definitely. I've found that all the rigs work best when they are full, and this is even up to the 1,000 gallons that I've got. Even the ones in the straight flows in Texas run beautifully. The more that you pack it. Now, let me take that back, because someone's going to butt everything up against each other. Fully loaded is not the same as packed tight.
Right.
You still need to allow ample space and room for everything to do what it's got to do.
Yeah.
But I would definitely also suggest loading everything in at a good time when you can, at one time. Like, get all your proteins there so you're not constantly open, closing type of thing. That would be my strongest suggestion, instead of wheeling out your car with like 6 and then you've got another 4 inside. Just bring them all out to do one load at one time, so that way you're not releasing all that heat unnecessarily.
Right. Yeah. One thing I would say is put, especially towards the front of the smoker, put the proteins that can take the burden of like heat better.
Butts.
So, butts also. So this past week I cooked a lot of beef ribs. So actually beef ribs were the front for me, because beef ribs respond better to like a higher heat.
Yeah.
So it was beef ribs, then butts, then briskets. Then as I was like, actually for this one, I did a separate rib cook. But if I was going to do a rib cook at the same time, as the briskets shrink up, take up less space, I'll move those further up front and then load the back of my pit with the ribs.
It's crazy how much real estate you gain halfway through your cook.
Right.
That's why I tell people, like, you don't have to keep your proteins in one spot. You can move them, because they're going to move whether you want them to or not. They are going to shrink. They're going to expel water. One thing that's across the board, doesn't matter what pit you're using, all right? Never load chicken on top of anything.
Yep, that's insanity.
Don't do that. But we have seen videos, and it terrifies the hell out of me every time. Never load chicken on top of anything. I cannot stress that enough. Please don't do that. That is the one rule. Whether you're pellet, wood, coal, whatever fuel your rig uses, however it is, never load chicken on top of anything. That is all.
And rotate.
Yeah. Rotate. Definitely rotate. Okay, you got the next one?
All right, so this is an interesting question. I was joking with Lee ahead of time about this one. There's not a name on it, so apologies. Cooked a 6-pound shoulder for 7 hours at 275. Rested 1 hour, didn't shred. What did I do?
Oh, so I know that person asked that before, but I don't think we got to it. It was, gosh, let me try to find his name. BCS White One. I'm sure that means something. That's who asked.
What temperature did you pull it at? That's the question I'm going to ask is like, what if you pulled it at, if it's on for 7 hours and it only got up to 175, 180 degrees, it's not going to pull no matter how long you rest it. For pork to pull, you need to get it up and at least over 190, usually between 195 and 203 for pork to pull.
And so here's the full question was, yo, there was a lot of O's at the end of it. Cooked a 6-pound shoulder for 7 hours at 275, pulled at 205, rested 1 hour.
Okay.
Still didn't shred. Nice. What I do? There was a lot that could have gone wrong. Like, were you watching it? Was it at 275 the whole time? Did your system dip? Like, what's going on? It was 7 hours enough.
Did it probe like butter?
Yeah, and we've talked about it. We've come across numerous cuts of meat, especially briskets and shoulders, where it's temped. Technically, it should be done
right,
like ready by the math of it. Like, oh, this should work. It's still hard as a rock. You got to go by touch.
Yeah, every piece of meat is different.
Yeah, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily say you did anything wrong. I would say that you've got to factor in that hitting the numbers is a great mark for food safety wise, but it's not always the mark for service and doneness.
Well, 205 is definitely done, but I've had
205 is done, but it may not be ready to
but if it's 205 on that outer edge and it's 180 in the middle, like you're not going to pull, like you need to probe pretty deep into a pork butt.
Yeah. Don't hit the bone.
Don't hit the bone.
But if you're doing that, I also wonder what type of rig you're using, because you could do 205 on a barrel vert and it may not pull. Also, was it 275 the whole way? What were you cooking on? Did you watch it? Did it maintain? Did it dip? Our buddy Chewy was running a shoulder a week or two ago, and he stepped away for a little bit, and it dipped on him, and it didn't shred. It came back at the right temp, but it just didn't. Once you see that dip, I don't think people realize how drastic an effect those dips can have on a cook. Like a 30 to 45 minute temperature drop can drastically prolong your cook time, or just change the end result of your protein, because that fat begins to congeal again. It's like, oh, we were hot. No, we're just going to tighten right back up how we were.
I mean, here's the thing: is like that 275, say on like a Kamado or an egg,
yeah.
275 on that thing at that top of the dome. That's not the temperature down at the bottom. Sometimes that's completely different. No. So,
and this is is this 275 and you got a 250 gallon rig, but it's 275 up front, and you're like somewhere in the back right corner, somewhere. Yeah. Where are your hotspots? So I feel like we'd love to get a little bit more info on this. I would say try wrapping it in foil. Next time, if you're meeting everything perfectly, wrapping it tightly in foil and then doing another layer around it that has air, so that heat's bouncing around. It's sort of like you're making your own little thermos. But there's a lot that could go with that. I would definitely want to know, were you maintaining temps? What type of rig were you cooking on? And did it probe like it was done? Or when you probed it, was it still stiff? That would be really good too.
Could we ask for a picture of the rig?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll respond and see if we can make that happen. Next up here, the lives. Do's and don'ts when building your first smoker.
So that's Joe_Joe. Oh, Hada.
I couldn't tell.
I mean, giving him so much hate already.
I wasn't giving him so much hate. I was just trying to wear the hats that never came. I couldn't see past him, trash talking over the empty P.O. box with nothing in it.
Hey, look, shout out to JoJo for, first of all, building your own smoke. That's just something I'm never going to do.
Yeah.
Like, that is, just doing that is a commitment that.
So he's hands-on building, or he's getting.
Oh yeah, no. He sent me a picture of like where he is in the process.
Right on.
So
he's the one.
He is fabricating. Like he has a propane tank, and like it's already a certain way through, and he's fabricating it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was getting my first pit, I did come across this tool that I actually linked in our story, and we'll put it on there. It's called the Felden's Barbecue Pit Builder Calculator, and it will, based on if you have a square firebox, a round firebox, a square cooking chamber, a round cooking chamber, it will give you a lot. Like you enter your dimensions, and it will kind of give you how big your firebox inlet should be, how big your firebox should be, how big your stack size should be, whether like the round diameter and the height. I actually used it and then estimated a little more because I got an offset pit built by people who do reverse flows. So I kind of use that tool to kind of get them to customize the pit in a certain way. Yeah. So I got them to expand their stack size in terms of diameter, how wide it was, and also the length of their stack size. Now, a lot of the pit builders out there now, you really like Millscale, Moberg, Primitive, Centex, M&M. They know what they're doing. You don't need to use the calculator to tell them what they're doing. But if you're building your own pit, it's a pretty good like tool to use to kind of get the dimensions, right?
No, like the for me, I would, if I was starting over and didn't know, I would go just view other people's rigs. I would go see what commercially is available and see if there's anything from there, because they usually include convenience bits in there, and see if I can incorporate that in any way, shape, or form. And I would think, how versatile could I potentially make it? Like with Penny, my firebox has a top griddle cover that I can pull up on hinges and lay my cast irons down on and heat up. And I think, what was it? We did Brownie Fest, and I was making breakfast for the crew team. They're using that griddle. But I would think versatility and longevity and growth. People ask us a lot, like, what should my first rig be? I'm like, get what you can afford, first off, and also get something that you can grow into. Don't get something to meet your needs right now, because you will grow.
So here's a tip. If you know some people who own a certain type of rig made by, say, one of the bigger pit masters, don't go message one of the pit builders about like their specs and message somebody who has the rig and get them to give you measurements.
Yes.
Because you're probably not going to get a response from like Sonny Moberg about.
No, you'll get an email with like a ticket number, like you're in this position in line.
Yeah, and then this is how much our pits cost. So like if you know someone who has, a mill scale, and you were like, hey, what's, trying to design a pit, like love mill scale, message a friend and be like, hey, what's the opening? What's the firebox size? That kind of thing. And like just get rough measurements and go from there. We talked about Palmera earlier. I know Hector's built all of his pits for Palmera, which is like insanely badass.
Yeah, that's I give him credit. I'm not I'm good at carpentry, not good with a welder. That's not my field.
I'm decent on the technology side. The actual like, I think I like I love like talking to my grandparents. Like, how do you know how much you do with computers? Like, well, you know how to deal with cars way more. If you just grew up with computers, you would know how to deal it. So if I grew up in a welding shop, I would probably build my own pit.
Exactly. And it just, I am currently looking at a new rig, a Road Warrior. Penny is great for, the hood cooks and around the community and all that, but when I designed Penny, I never designed her to really leave Georgia. But, like I've got to go up to Connecticut. I've got to go to Jersey, LA, and they want me to use my rigs over there. So I'm in the midst right now of trying to design a nice, versatile Road Warrior, thinking something between like a 150 to a 225 or 250, maybe a little small on the smoker end, with a Santa Maria or a little burn down hearth, so I can smoke here, something where I can also attach a Sato Cross to a little bit to have that going. But yeah, I'm gonna have to time to design up a new baby to take on the road with me.
Were you kind of glimpsing Leo's pit at a Holy Smoke last year?
I dig Leo's pit. I got to mess with Leo's pit at Treaty Oak last year.
Yeah,
and that was great. And I dug that. Shout out to the guys at Millscale for putting together a hearth and a metal table for me to get my jerk chickens finished off on. But yeah, it's looking like it's time to get a new rig, and we're gonna hit the road with this bad boy and take it all over. So it's got to be sturdy and ready to go. We can get two more.
Yeah. Baby backs versus spares, pros and cons of each. That's Primo_Supremo 21, and I believe he's at Hurtado.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I personally love spares.
That's all I cook now is spares.
I love spares. I started with babies.
Yeah, everybody starts like in the backyard. It's baby backs.
Yeah.
Spares hold better. Yeah.
Yes, they definitely do. And they're a lot less expensive than babies.
Yes. Yep.
Now, I have a better bite experience with spares.
I don't know. Like sometimes I want that, like baby backs, it's pork chop on a bone. Sometimes you want that super meaty bite. Sure. They do have less fat. There are cool things you could do with baby backs, like what CM Smokehouse. They basically what they call baby back wings. So they'll cook baby backs, then they'll throw them in the fryer, and then they'll toss them in like buffalo sauce and like other sauces and serve them like almost like a chicken wing.
There've been a lot of off-cut ribs lately, like turkey ribs, lamb ribs, which I love lamb ribs. But I've been seeing a lot more of that stuff pop up. And next thing you know, we're going to be seeing woolly mammoth ribs.
Please no. So for me, baby backs are synonymous with a backyard cook. Spares are synonymous more with the long and slow smoke. I think of baby backs more of like grilled or like almost boiled and then grilled on the finish. Because immediately I think baby backs and I think of what is the rib shack off of Piedmont?
I thought you were about to say Chili's baby back.
No, not Chili's. They even say they're not. They even say they're not.
Jingle, man.
They even say they're not barbecue, and I'm blanking on the famous Atlanta Rib Shack now.
Fat Matt.
Fat Matt's, yeah. Fat Matt's. You go in and you get a bunch of baby backs.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're not barbecue.
Yeah, we're not barbecue, but like those things are insanely delicious.
They really are.
Yeah.
If you have never been, make sure to stop by.
Yeah, get a half rack and some rum beans, and thank me later. Yeah. And then go on a music night where some jazz is playing.
Yes, I was about to say, don't forget the stage.
Yeah.
No, actually, let's cut it there. I like that.
Well, hold on. Let's do. I did have one more.
All right, drop it.
Yeah, this is holding temps for sausage at pop-ups.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Yeah, how do you hold in Alto? And he said, ask Alto. I hold in a Cambro at pop-ups. That's Little Dom at Big Don's. So when you've cooked sausage though, you're holding them basically on your pit.
Yes.
And what temp are you running your pit when you're holding stuff?
I've usually dropped it down for if it's just sausages on there. It's not as high, but normally when we've got the rigs, when it's loaded up with birds and all, I've got it humming at about 2, but I've got them in the cold spots.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember bringing you the jerk link for one of your last pop-ups. I was wondering what you were holding them at on that day. For me, on like the powered cameras, they're shooting to run at 165 at all times. Yeah. So there's not like a temperature that you can
gauge it and drop it off to.
Usually, if I'm using an Alto or any other Alto, 140 to 145. The biggest thing with holding sausage is you want it on you could throw it on a sheet pan, but or in a hotel pan, get a wire rack to lift it up. So as sausages sits in the heat, it's going to render off some, like, depending on how hot they're cooked, they're going to render off some of the fat. You don't want them sitting in a pool of fat because the bottom of the casings are going to get soggy.
Yeah.
So what I do is I have a wire rack, then I'll place a sheet of butcher paper over it, then lay the sausage on top of that. And then so they're not taking the brunt of the heat from my Cambro, because usually they're up near where the fans are on the camera where it's running. I'll lay a piece of butcher paper over the top of it too. And then I make sure to also have the vent open so it's not collecting steam. Because like steam is like the enemy of a sausage casing.
Yes, and oftentimes I think people forget, like, you don't want to steam your barbecue.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, usually like everything else is wrapped, so steam's not that big of a deal. But since sausages are uncovered, like having too much steam is like the absolute killer. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is like I've like elevated off the bottom of whatever pan you're holding it in. Butcher paper's your friend, and cover it up. Because usually I'll have it stacked a couple rows high anyway.
Butcher paper is definitely versatile. I'm putting together a barbecue must-have kit, and butcher paper is on the list. Like just a starter's kit. Just like not one that people can purchase. Just, hey, just run through this list before you start a smoke, because you're going to kind of need all these things.
Yeah, and don't spend money unless it's This Week in Barbecue themed butcher paper.
Yeah,
don't spend money on branded butcher paper.
Yeah, that's just silly. It does the same thing.
Yeah,
but we won't get into that. It's too much. And I'm not apologizing. Apologizing for anything.
Apologizing for what?
Nothing, exactly. No, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the show. It feels good to be back. Wish I was back longer to enjoy it, but I'm on the way out. But you can catch us on the old Instagrammies. Like I said, we're going to make a whole TikTok. And why? Because you love watching This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that brings you both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. I have been your host, Rasheed Phillips, and my co-host, Mr.
Brian Hull.
And once again, the judgmental voice you hear, but face you don't see,
Lee Garvin.
Tell a friend to tell tell a friend to tell 2 friends.
Tell a friend to tell 3 friends.
To tell 3 friends and subtract 1 because you didn't have them in your top 3 anyway. Who remembers that? I don't think we remember.
Well, it was top 7, wasn't it?
T-Mobile used to be like your top 11. They just got.
Oh no, I was thinking
MySpace.
MySpace. Yeah. We both went to MySpace.
We're
Yeah, T-Mobile did have that where it was like a couple people where you could call for free
Free,
and text
just
for free.
rotate.
I mean, it doesn't matter what your top 7 is because it's really top 6 because Tom's always at the top.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.